While it is important to remember that each person has their own unique story, that we are all individuals and we all have our own paths that we have to follow, and each person's experience will not be the same, even if they look the same or have the same background. Sometimes that focus on individualization can become very isolating. It can help us to become in this place where we feel so isolated and alone that actually can have a negative impact on our well-being. And we know that acceptance and attachment and that feeling of community can actually play such a strong key role in our well-being. That's one of the reasons why social support is one of the biggest protective factors against different types of risk for anxiety, for depression, and for many other stresses that impact our well-being. So as we're thinking through the factors of self-care, many times it's important to also recognize how important it is to be taking care of others, to have that community, and especially within the workplace, to have that workforce collective that really can be part of that group and that solidarity, even with our own individualization and individual needs. So as we're thinking through this concept today, and we recognize that importance of acceptance and social connection, some ways that we can really factor that in to increase our well-being, especially within the workplace, are going to be to focus on, for instance, framing adversity as a collective concern. Whenever we have a pitch that doesn't go well, how can we take relational pauses and moments to debrief, to work through? How can we work that into our typical everyday workplace settings? So every time before we do a pitch, to really work together as a team and figure out what could go well, what might be some common objections, and what are some ways that we can problem solve through it, as well as doing debriefing afterwards. Finding ways that whenever emotions are escalating, to stop and to take a pause for a moment, to create, as we say, those relational pauses, to look at it more collectively. This is going to help to surface this more authentic and complex relationships, but also understanding that there are all these different identities that play a key role. It also helps to promote compassion, to promote acceptance, and additional diversity within the organization, while also feeling more connected and that sense of belonging, which we know is incredibly important for our overall well-being. It also helps teams to learn to recognize and reflect on their behavior, on strengths, and on key opportunity areas. So as we're authenticating who our teams are, who we are as people, and really being able to see how that struggling well together piece comes into play, that helps to then be able to build and grow our overall well-being, the strength and importance of teams, and to not feel so isolated and alone while also having our own individual unique experiences. Be well.